Warning, the following review contains over-the-top graphic violence, blatant titillation, and ninja zombies. If you are offended by any of these things, then you must be a zombie pirate, and are advised against continuing. That does not mean there won't be any booty, however.
Hi there, I'm Andrew Albacer, and this is a sword. Everyone loves swords, right? Everyone loves breasts. So, what happens if we combine swords with boobies? Now, I don't usually like to do a video game movie review without having played the source game properly, but seriously, you want me to actually play the Onechanbara for extended periods? Have the achievement pop up and tell the whole world that I've been a supermodel killer for a day? Have you no compassion? Well, it's probably less embarrassing than someone getting 1,000 gamerscore on Dead or Alive Extreme 2, which just means you've been ogling virtual girls with plastic breasts for hundreds of hours. But this bloody franchise... well, it's certainly unique. For anyone that needs a little background information, the Oneechanbara is a budget video game franchise that made the bulk of its appearances on Sony's PlayStation 2. Besides Japan, it was made available in Europe under the somewhat vague title of Zombie Zone. Chances are this was to catch out anyone who happened to be a fan of the zombie slaying subgenre, but what they ended up with probably wasn't their idea of a gaming session. Chances are they'd end up playing with the camera more than the actual game. What exactly do we have here? Is it Amazons locked into battle with undead monsters, or sexual objectification? Let's see. The original Japanese name is a portmanteau of Oni-chan, which means big sister, and Chanbara, which is sword fighting. So, from that title, you can assume that it's going to be sword fighting by someone who's a big sister. This is as good a guess as any. So, how do we turn a low-budget hack-and-slash game that owes the bulk of its success to its cheap pricing and unique assets into a cinematic experience? Well, by making it into an action movie, obviously, but don't go in there expecting Akira Kurosawa just yet. It was marketed in the West as Chanbara Beauty, masquerading as a foreign art film without any references to it being based on existing IP at all, let alone the traditionally dire video game movie grey area. Then again, if you have a game called Bikini Zombie Slayers, would you really want to hint that that exists? It sounds like bad 70s straight-to-video shite. So yeah, we enter to a tag stating that the year is 20XX, in true Mega Man fashion. I know they're trying to cover themselves in case a zombie apocalypse doesn't happen, but if they at least put a number in there, we could prepare for it. Seriously, we need to be able to prepare for these kind of things. We cut to a pair of youths shooting zombies for sport, until a bulletproof one decides to come and own them. Then we cut to a... I don't know what this is supposed to be. We have zombies being used as a dartboard, people taking lines of coke and fighting each other. Anyways, again, a zombie comes in and starts. Wait, what? Since when could zombies kick like that? Well, these would certainly give George A. Romero's survivors a run for their money. I don't think I've ever seen a kung fu zombie before. Who cares? It's a vehicle for meeting our heroine. Aya is a titular big sister, and well, she fights zombies with swords. And that's pretty much it. She's taciturn, and she doesn't really like to wait before she starts swinging her blades around. Okay, so she's kicking ass. The effects here are very clearly CG. And she has got to have the most protective gear on. Why is she wearing a bikini and cowboy attire? Fuck knows! The movie asks that you drop a lot of your questions about why it's doing things the way it is, so just don't. Instead, watch the computer pretend this actor's getting split in half. You see that? I told you not to expect any Seven Samurai shit, didn't I? This is sword fighting for the Dragon Ball generation. Did you see how ridiculous that special move was? And she's not even covered in any blood after that CG fountain. So after that super move, it just leaves the fucker that started the whole mess. He's obviously the boss because he can use weapons. You see, in this world, zombies aren't just the shambling targets that they usually are. No. These zombies can be trained to use weapons, and act in undead armies apparently. This makes her throw off her coat because I guess she's more powerful without it? I don't really know. I think she looked more intimidating with it on, but I guess intimidation isn't really what we're going for here. Have you ever seen a zombie move like that? Well, it doesn't matter. This fat guy is comic relief as far as I can tell. He spends pretty much the whole film absolutely terrified while Aya saves his ass from a variety of threats. Oh, please let me kill him right now. Without him slowing you down, maybe we can finish this fast. Here, I'll even do it for you. That revving signals the arrival of our second heroine. And what do you partner a sword fighter with? Well, a gunner, of course. This is Rico. She's a biker with a shotgun. Or at least a thing that summons sparks when pointed that seems to have a large ammunition capacity considering the amount of shots she can get off in one combo without having to reload. Aya overpowers the zombie boss dude and says that she's looking for a woman named Saki. But before he can respond, if that's even possible... Don't ask me what rules this film has regarding zombies, I really don't know, it's not clear. He gets shot through the head by Raiko. Aya and Raiko square off, and while Aya's manipulation of computer-generated effects is more than admirable, the two grind and perform tribadism to a stalemate. Luckily, or unluckily, the fat guy's still alive and manages to convince them to stand down by explaining that since they're in a world where the dead rise and kill their families, why should two living humans be killing each other? Well, it's logical, I suppose, and probably both the least whiny and smartest thing you can expect to come from him over the next hour. Aya and the fat man make their way out, but Raiko states that she knows where Saki is. The dude is named Katsuji, by the way, and he is a twat. Well, that just changes everything. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the plot for its one-man show, Involvement. And it only took about half an hour. Well, whoever this Saki is, they're with the Dr. Sugita, who is the man responsible for all these zombies because he's been heavily involved with experiments and research into resurrection. Rico will take them on the condition that they kill Sugita. Aya agrees without saying anything. Get used to that. Jesus, The Legend of Zelda has a more engaging protagonist, and he doesn't even speak! So, since the story's introduced him already, we now cut to Sugita. He seems like a bit of a nutjob, as the first thing we see him doing is playing with a severed head while monologuing to himself about what he believes the meaning of life to be. You can tell that he's evil. He's got something up with one of his eyes. Because physical deformity is inherently evil. Take note, movie fans! He explains to... He's the only one there. Okay, well, he explains to himself, I guess, that he has, after decades, developed cells that when mixed with blood restore the dead, and that, by extension, he's now greater than God. Standard supervillain speak, then. He creates a zombie, but since it doesn't take his orders, he proceeds to beat the living shit out of it, crying it down as a defect. He claims he needs someone young, strong, and dead. Then he gets really specific, I mean super specific, saying that it should be one of the Amici clan. And guess who's on his monitor? You guessed it, Aya. Well, either that or he's just a dirty old man that likes to oogle a young girl in a bikini. You take your pick, you go with whatever you want. Then he shouts for Saki, but Saki's too busy killing a random dude outside. You may have noticed that not only is she completely batshit insane, but she's also dressed to the nines as a schoolgirl. Why? Didn't I tell you to stop asking fucking questions? Anyway, wasn't the swordswoman in the Sailor Fuku a heroine in the games? Well, she was certainly a player character. Well, that's enough of these dickheads. Let's go back to the main characters at their camp. Katsuji here uses a conversation with Raiko to exposit that Aya is heir to the Amici clan, in case you missed the glaringly obvious nod to this fact in the previous scene. He also claims that they have killed every zombie they've ever come across, a feat that Raiko finds impressive. However, the smug git fails to mention that the kills were done while he was hiding under a table. Can I please kill him now? He says that he's the brains of the operation and that he deserves thanks for what he hasn't done. Aya doesn't take to his smugness very well, but obviously he gets away with it because he's the Joker. And the only way to counter an Ice Queen is with a camp comic. Obviously. Later on, Katsuji explains that he's never seen Aya smile or cry because she saw her father die at the hands of her little sister. She's now driven exclusively by a hatred for her sister, and we get a flashback. I'm sure you made the connection, but just in case you didn't, I've got a checklist right here. Fetish outfit? Check. Katana skills? Check. Bad attitude? Well, check. Polar stances on the current situation? Check. Yep. Saki's her sister, alright.